Today, I'm going to show you how to get tight, layered vocals on your mixes by dialing in the timing of your doubles and your harmonies using the Vocalign plugin by Waves Audio. All right, let's dive right in here. I have my main vocal track right here. Then I have some backup vocals for the second part of the phrase, and then I have a left and a right harmony. So first thing we're going to want to do is pop open Vocalign. Vocalign, unlike your classic plugins, that live here, is going to live up here under Audio Suite. The difference is these plugins on the track are going to affect all the audio on the track, and any of the plugins up in Audio Suite, those are going to be used to apply a change to just a select part of the track. So, with Vocalign, we just want to line up these doubles or these backup vocals to the main vocals. So we're just only affecting this little part of the track here. So for plugins affecting a small part of the track, you're going to want to use plugins in Audio Suite. So let's go ahead and open up Vocalign. I have Vocalign 5, whatever iteration you have. I think they're on 8 or 9 now. It's all going to be generally the same. You have 3 sections. Your guide, it says right here, this is going to be your main vocals. So say we want to line up this part of the phrase, or we want to line up these backup vocals with the main vocals. You're going to capture the main vocals in here. So you're going to select what you want and hit capture. Then for the dub, you're going to select the doubles or the backup or harmonies, whatever you're trying to line up. I'm going to reselect that because I want to get it nice and tight to only the vocals that I'm lining up. So you want to make sure you kind of are capturing the entirety of the section you're lining up, and you never really want to line up more than, a phrase or two at a time, because you can start getting weird glitchy artifacts if you're trying to process too many chunks at once. So I'm only working with a small chunk of audio here. If you're doing, a whole hook, do, phrase, maybe half of a phrase at a time or a phrase at a time. So I'm going to use the P quick key to kind of bring the selection up one track and get exactly what I've selected down here. And I'm going to recapture that. So this is what I'm using as the reference point for my backups. Now, before I line it up, I'm going to play it back so you can hear how it sounds unaligned.
We'll be golden. We'll be golden. We'll be golden. We'll be golden.
So you can clearly hear 2 vocals there. They're not that tight. So now that I've captured the guide, I'm going to go ahead and tab down. That's the semicolon key on a MacBook to the backups, and I'm going to capture those. Now that they're both captured here, what you want to do is hit render, and you're going to see that's going to change this to align it. I can undo and redo. You can see the difference. Now I'll play that back for you aligned.
We'll be golden. We'll be golden.
You can still hear both vocals, but it sounds a lot tighter. One quick tip, actually, before I move on, I'm going to undo that Vocalign. Best practice before you go ahead and start lining up phrases or chunks of audio is come over here and duplicate the main playlist. So what that's going to do is essentially just give you an extra playlist, same audio, but untouched by Vocalign. So when you come in here and you Vocalign this section, say you Vocalign it, you're moving super fast, oops, capture that, render, cleaning it up, clean it up, move on. Too late to undo. You realize there's a glitch in here, but all you're stuck with the Vocalign audio. You still have the original audio down here, so you can just bring that up and redo it if you need to. So let's go back to waveform, and let's check out these harmonies real quick.
Like a sun-kissed beach. Like a sun-kissed beach.
They're pretty tight. Looks like I manually aligned them when I was working this session, but I'll just show you lining up the harmonies since these have actually been grouped. So you can see the group setting over here, the high harmony 1. Everything I do to one track is going to affect the other track. If I solo it, if I mute it, etc. So if I go down, they're both selected. This is a neat hack as long as you're careful. If you're lining up, if you got harmonies on the 3rd, on the 5th, on the, octave, so on. If you're lining up a bunch of stuff, you can kind of start grouping it together. I wouldn't go too much beyond like 2 or 3 tracks grouped, because that can kind of start to get, you can kind of get lost in the weeds a little bit and create some artifacts. But just for these 2 here, as long as you're listening back, having those grouped allows you to Vocalign them at the same time. Let me go ahead and show you. So here I am. I'm going to go ahead and capture. Actually, I'm going to make sure I have it selected just to where these begin, because as you can see, there's like an ooh before this phrase, and we don't want to bring that in. We only want the words that are being delivered in the harmony to be lined up to those same words in the original track. So always just make sure you're grabbing just the beginning of that, so we don't get any weird artifacts at the beginning. So now I'm going to tab up to my guide. I'm going to hit capture. I'm going to tab back down. Again, that's the colon key. And I'm going to capture both of my harmonies, the left and the right. You can see it reflected in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and render that. And you can see it has adjusted both of them.
Like a sun-kissed beach.
Sometimes it doesn't always get it perfect. You might want to come in, let me ungroup these and say nudge this one over a little bit. But typically it's pretty damn good at getting things nice and tight. And there's always the manual option for kind of little tiny stuff that, say you want to cut off the CH of beach there. You can just do that yourself, or, if this didn't get caught, it looks like it did actually catch this, but if it didn't get caught in the Vocalign, you could, move it yourself if you needed to. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, user-friendly tool, but my God, it makes a huge difference. I highly recommend, if you do not have this yet and you're just starting out or well into your, recording journey, go ahead and grab this. At the time of recording, I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks for a Black Friday sale. Actually, the newer iteration might be a little more expensive regardless. Highly recommend Vocalign if you're doing any type of recording that has, more than just the lead vocals. And there you have it. Enjoy tighter, more powerful vocals on your next mix. See you next week.